Let's continue. Now, pay attention. In the next sentence, there are two fill in the gaps. Therefore, we have to do them together. There is a great probability that the meaning of one is connected to the meaning of the other. So if we try exercise 12 and it is difficult, we go to the next one and we do exercise 13, because probably it's 13 that indicates which is the missing gap in 12. Columbus didn't succeed finding the Spice Island, but he managed to discover the Americas. Stop. The idea would be, Colombo no tuvo éxito encontrando las islas, pero él descubrió las Américas. Let's begin with exercise 12, but knowing if it's difficult, we would go directly to exercise 13. Columbus didn't succeed finding the Spice Islands. Let's look at the structure. There's a verb, there's a fill in the gap, and then there's another verb ending in ing. The meaning in Spanish would be, Colombo no tuvo éxito encontrando las islas. So we have to focus not on meaning, but on grammar. When this happens, it's because we have to follow a certain structure, and what they are looking for is the preposition that follows the word before, succeed. And the ending in this verb makes us realize that our reasoning is correct. Why? Because we know that a verb following a preposition is always in gerund. Which is the preposition that follows succeed? Succeed in, therefore, he didn't succeed in finding the islands. Other examples are, he believed in doing the right thing, or she's concerned about traveling abroad. My sixth advice is, when you translate it in Spanish and the meaning is the same, pay attention to grammar. Exercise 13. But he managed to discover the Americas. Stop. Pero él consigue descubrir las Américas. We have translated it in Spanish and the meaning is the same in English, so let's pay attention to the grammar. We realize it's in present while we know that it should have been in past. He managed. When this happens, they want us to emphasize the verb. And it would be, he did manage to discover the Americas. And that in Spanish it would be, pero él sí logró o consiguió descubrir las Américas. So my seventh advice is that when there's a subject, a gap, and a verb in present, can be an emphasizer, as in this case, he did manage, or also a modal verb and a negative. It all depends on the structure of the sentence that it is followed by, and the semantics of the sentence, the meaning of the sentence. Exercise 14. There he, across another pepper, the chili, which had been used in cooking in South America for thousands of years. Stop. From the very beginning, we know it is a phrasal verb. Why? Because it's in the position of the verb. There are two words, and one of them is a preposition, across. Now we translate it into Spanish in order to know the word they are looking for. Allí el otro pimiento, el chili, el cual había estado usándose en cocina en América del Sur durante miles de años. In Spanish, the idea would be, él se encontró, él se topó con otra especie de pimienta, el chili. Which could be the phrasal verb that means this. The phrasal verb is come across, encontrarse por casualidad, but it would have to be in the past tense. There, he came across another pepper, a chili. Let's go to the next one. Exercise 15. Soon, Columbus' discovery, large quantities of chilies were being shipped back to Spain from the Caribbean. Stop. Now, it's talking about the consequences of the discovery of the chili pepper. Now, this example is the typical one that is difficult the first time you see it, but then once you've seen it, it just comes to your mind the next time. It is also an example that they place a word that makes it more difficult for you to interpret the fill in the gap. Pronto descubrimiento de Colombo, largas cantidades de chili estaban siendo transportados de vuelta a España desde el Caribe. Now, this is probably how you have translated it into Spanish. Now try doing it without the word soon. And remember, we're talking about the consequences. It would be after Columbus' discovery, después del descubrimiento de Colombo, consequences. And the word missing is then after. Why? Because soon after means poco después. So when we translated soon as pronto, it was incorrect because it was making reference to this expression soon after. Go to the next one. Exercise 16. Later, people realized that chilies would actually grow in Southern Europe, and it wasn't long before the fresh chilies were sale in European markets. Stop. In Spanish it would be, más tarde la gente se dio cuenta que los chilis de hecho crecerían en el sur de Europa y no pasó mucho tiempo antes que los chilis frescos fueran vender, pero es un nombre, por tanto, venta en mercado europeo. So the idea is that no pasó mucho tiempo antes que los chiles fueran vendidos en mercado europeo. If you want to say fueron vendidos, it would be were sold. But it's not a verb, it's a noun, sale. So which is that expression that has two words in which we can use the noun and not the verb? In Spanish it would be estaban a la venta, and in English it would be were on sale or were for sale. Both would be correct. Hope I've helped you to understand the reasoning behind this exercise, and remember, use your native language in order to guess a meaning of a word. Once done, we switch quickly to our English grammatical knowledge. In time, there will be a moment that you will use less your Spanish language because it will just come directly to you and will be used only to those certain ones that you find difficulty in. Making this exercise is all about practice and technique. So, as I always say, is theory important? Of course it is, but practice is essential in order to make all the mistakes while practicing so we don't make them during the official exam. Bye bye.